As I'm sure you all know, it's the Brit Awards this week. You know, those pop awards that used to be quite cool but aren't really anymore. Well, today we're going to go through every Premier League club and pick out each club's musical fan. For Arsenal, we've got Coldplay's Chris Martin. The least cool band around, frontman Chris Martin is believed to be a gunner and was seen in the Emirates a few years ago with Jay-Z, who probably isn't a gunner. There's nothing cool about Chris Martin, but he at least seems like a good bloke. But I highly doubt you'll be seeing him on Arsenal Fan TV calling Granit Xhaka worse than sin and screaming Wenger out. Okay, so we hit a few issues with Bournemouth as there were no real obvious names. The best we could do was Bournemouth-born DJ FUNTCASE, which is a cool and edgy name because it sounds like face. The dubstep enthusiast, real name James Hazel, might be a Cherries fan based on his Twitter as he seems to follow a fair few of their players such as Mark Pugh and Nathan Ake. And no offence to those lads, but why else would you follow them? However, he does also follow a fair few Man United guys, so maybe he has dual affiliation. Who knows? Next up we've got Burnley, and we literally couldn't find anyone. So either we didn't look hard enough, or there's literally no one, except maybe some obscure indie band from the region. The best we can do is Chumbawamba, who were formed in Burnley, and best known for their song Tub Thumping, or as it's better known, I Get Knocked Down But I Get Up Again, which was actually nominated for a Brit Award in 1998. We don't know if they're actually Burnley fans though, but the song really sums up the club over the past few years, getting relegated or knocked down, and immediately returning to the top flight, getting up again. I knew I could make this work. Down to Brighton now, whose famous music fans are Royal Blood, specifically the drummer Ben Thatcher, and no, that's not the hard as nails left back who used to play for Man City, Millwall and Wimbledon, as well as various others. Royal Blood drummer Thatcher can be seen at the Amex and was there during their promotion charge last season with his face being picked up by the Sky cameras without actually realising who he was. Maybe Royal Blood aren't that big a deal in the eyes of Sky. For Crystal Palace we've got Rolling Stones bassist Bill Wyman. A lifelong Crystal Palace fan, Bill Wyman probably got a bit upset when people criticised Roy Hodgson for his age, considering Wyman is 11 years his senior. Such is Wyman's fandom for the Eagles, he feigned toothache to get out of a 1990 European tour with the Rolling Stones so he could go to Wembley and watch Palace in the FA Cup final, where they would end up losing to Man United after a replay. Up next we've got Chelsea, and we've got a plethora of big names from the world of music who support the Blues. You'll often hear Madness is one step beyond ringing out at Stamford Bridge, and a lot of the band are actually fans of the club. You can also add Blur and Gorillaz leader Damon Albarn to the list of Chelsea fans, making Man City vs Chelsea the battle of the Britpop megapowers, as you'll probably know all about the famous brothers who follow Pep Guardiola's men. We've got a surprising name for Everton, Sir Paul McCartney. Everyone would expect the former Beatle to be a fan of Liverpool, but Macca is in fact a toffee, being born into a family of Evertonians. However, McCartney does have a soft spot for Liverpool though after a conversation with Kenny Dalglish, so in the Merseyside derby he probably just wants everyone to have a nice time and no one to get hurt. Rock and roll. Over to Huddersfield now, who are another club that don't seem to have too strong an affinity with music, unless Patrick Stewart has released an album that none of us know about. Wakefield-based band The Cribs are believed to be followers of the Terriers, but don't seem to be die-hard Town fans. Or maybe they are now they're in the Premier League. Now Leicester's famous musical fans are obvious. No, it's not Andrea Bocelli, it's Kasabian. Whenever the Foxes score a goal at the King Power, Kasabian track Fire will ring out in what is the only cool instance of goal music, and Claudio Ranieri often referred to the band's song Underdog during Leicester's title-winning campaign. Kasabian celebrated the title win by playing a sold-out gig at the King Power Stadium, and Sergio Pizzorno isn't a bad footballer himself, scoring a stunning chip at Old Trafford in a charity game many years ago. Heading back to Merseyside with Liverpool, we've got Gary Barlow. The Take That singer isn't the most popular guy around, especially with the Taxman, but Barlow has been seen at Anfield supporting the Reds, probably wishing he was the one to come up with the Salah O Mane Mane song. Of course, Manchester City's famous music fans are the Gallagher brothers. They might not make music together anymore, but they still support the same club, with Liam often tweeting his pleasure at Man City winning and Man United losing, while Noel recently appeared as a pundit on Sky Sports for the Manchester derby, where he had the pleasure of laughing at Gary Neville while his side ran rings around the Red Devils. For Manchester United we've got the Stone Roses. Before there was Oasis there was the Stone Roses, and before City there was United. That's not true actually, but it would have made for a class narrative. The Stone Roses are famous United fans, and their song This Is The One can always be heard at Old Trafford. However, it was a bit awkward when you could hear all of the Stone Roses songs at the Etihad a few years back, with the Red Devils fans having to play to sell-out crowds on enemy territory. Now Newcastle United have a lot of famous music based fans, and no, Ant and Dec do not count for their epic Let's Get Ready to Rumble track. Sting does though, not the wrestler, and the guy from the Police has been very vocal about his support of Newcastle, writing a song for the 1998 FA Cup final when Newcastle were beaten by Arsenal, as well as criticising Mike Ashley's ownership of the club. Maybe if Sting writes a note to Amanda Staveley, she'll come back with a better offer. Southampton's famous music fan is Craig David. Christ, it's hard to not say that in a Bo Selector voice. The greatest comeback since Istanbul, Southampton could really take a leaf out of Craig David's book, with the singer returning to the top after going missing for years. As for the Saints, they're at risk of going missing themselves, or being relegated at least, with Maurizio Pellegrino's side struggling in the bottom three. To be fair, it's surprising that Craig David hasn't defected to Liverpool. Stoke City's famous music fan is Busta Rhymes. Okay, this has to be a load of bollocks. Busta Rhymes was pictured wearing a retro Stoke City shirt, much to the surprise of the club, who actually offered the rapper a new kit. Who knows if he took it? I'm going to guess he probably didn't, nor does he know that Stoke are managed by Paul Lambert and might get relegated this season. Next up we've got Swansea City, and this one was also a struggle, as once again we couldn't find any famous Swansea fans in the world of music. The best we could do was Bonnie Tyler, born in Skewen, which is apparently near Swansea. Sorry Swansea fans, you might not have a cool musical supporter, but at least Carlos Carvalhal has got you going in the right direction again. As Bonnie Tyler once said, the only way is up. Hang on, that's not her. Now Tottenham Hotspur might have the biggest music fan of them all right now, Adele. The 29-year-old was born in Tottenham and at a gig at the O2 Arena in London displayed a Spurs flag mid-performance, which probably angered all the Man United fans in the building at the time. However, there's one clear difference between Adele and Tottenham, and that's trophies. Now Watford's famous music fan is obvious, Sir Elton John. The I'm Still Standing star has had a huge role in Watford Football Club over the past few decades, becoming chairman in 1976 and appointing Graham Taylor as manager, as the Hornets rose through the divisions. Since then, Elton has sold, repurchased and sold the club again, but he now has his own stand dedicated to him at Vicarage Road, with the unveiling being described as one of the greatest days of his life. Now I wonder where he stands on the managerial merry-go-round at Watford nowadays. Next up it's West Brom, and we couldn't have a music based video without a bit of One Direction, so it's a good job Liam Payne is a baggy. Payne recently became a father to baby Bear, not an actual bear, that's just his name, with his partner Cheryl not Cole anymore. So no doubt there's a battle on to see who the child supports, Newcastle or West Brom. Some great options there for young Bear. And finally we've got West Ham United. Now although James Corden has sang a bit in the theatre and did that Christmas advert, we can't include the Gavin and Stacey star, as much as he does like a sing-song. Oh, and there was that awful World Cup song with Dizzy Rascal, and the carpool karaoke crack. But no, we've gone with Steve Harris from rock band Iron Maiden, who your dad probably likes. Harris normally has the club crest on his bass guitar, and was asked to train with the club back when he was a youngster. If only Katy Perry and Russell Brand were still married, we could have just included her. So that's every Premier League club's music fan, sort of. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.